Hey guys, what's going on? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Happy New Year. Hope everybody's having a great start to your 2019. Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about the process for becoming a trader when you're brand new. Like, what are the different things that you may have to go through? You know, for most of us, we're hanging out on YouTube, watching videos, and then, we try stuff, but it doesn't exactly work the way we want, right? Well, trading is a job. It's no different than learning how to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever your job is. And so let's talk a little bit with Josh here, who is one of my students who also works for me and moderates our chat room, about what it takes to be a new trader that turns into a successful one, as Josh has been with me for the last years and has really gone through, I'd say, a lot of ups and downs to get exactly where he needs to go. And it's always just about a process. And so, Josh, welcome. Your first YouTube video here with us. So give me a rundown how you started, and what do you think are like some of the keys that you really have to nail down to progress from just, hey, I bought a course, to, hey, I bought a course, practice, went through the ups and downs, and turned out on the other side making money?
Sure. So to give you guys a little rundown, I'm actually from Canada. When I first met Kunal, I was around 16, 17 years old. It was grade 11 in a financial management class, and we had to do our little research on how to trade stocks on a simulator. Found this guy on YouTube, had his cell phone number up there, so I gave him a call, and this guy was blown away that this young teenager from the Great White North was giving him a shout. But anyways, after that, I spent basically a year going through all the, same thing what you guys are probably doing, going through the free course material on YouTube, websites, blogging, all that kind of stuff. But then finally I kind of saved myself up, got some money in the bank, and then I, kind of committed to Kunal. Took the 60-day boot camp, and that was back in 2013. Oh shit, that was a long time. 2013. So way back then, and then from there, man, it was just a big thing about having those ups and downs. The one thing I really say, and I compare it to, is during these 4 years, the last 4 years, have been in university as well. And it's taken these last 4 years to get to the kind of point where I am in trading, like being consistent and really growing your account. And I, just another put in perspective for you guys. They say 95% of traders lose, and I've witnessed that over these last 4 years. I've had a lot of friends that are traders come and go. I was one of them so many times, but luckily for this guy, he would give me a shout. If he didn't hear from me for 2 months or whatever, he'd be like, "Dude, are you okay? Are you sick? Like, are you dying?" And I'd be like, "You know what, man? Like, I blew up another trading account, or I'm having some issues with schooling or whatever." Like, it took a longer process than I thought I would hope, but at the same time, man, it was, I'll never regret anything that we did these last 5 years. He's one of my best mentors, probably one of my closest friends, and yeah, now we're really grinding in 2018 for the trading stuff.
So you mentioned a couple things that I think are important. You said, number one, you studied. Number two, you've been saving up capital. So I think that's one of the things that often new traders miss, is they go on YouTube or they come in somebody's webinar and then they want to start trading, but like you have been in school full time, but you're also working. Like, you have a job that pays you money, and then you're learning to trade and trading. And I think that's the hard part where nobody wants to do. But I personally believe, like, it's going to be easier for you to make money as a new trader if you have money coming in somewhere else. Because in the end, you need capital. Like, what are the odds that you're going to turn $500 into anything?
I would just add on to that too. I think a lot of the guys that come in as new ones, they come from the binary options, the forex guys, penny stocks, and they'll like all those ads. They say like, oh, $500 you'll make 100% returns or something obnoxious. That never happens. The risk of failure is like through the roof. But a lot of guys, they still get into that kind of phenomenon. What it is. The big thing I found out with having another income or another job with it is, it helps out mentally as a trader, right? I remember the first account I actually started with you guys, I didn't do that. I had on my full bank account, I jumped it into a trading account, and I felt like I was trading my life every single day, right? If I lost $200, well, I paid 8 hours of my day to sit at the market, and I didn't make a single cent.
And you lost money.
And you lost money. So like, how are you supposed to get the whole, psychology and the consistency as a trader when you're basically trading your income every single day of life? So that was one big thing. A huge turning point in my trading was to get another income, whether it's passive, having another job, or just somewhere that you can at least dedicate the morning or whatever time frame you're trading at, and just have that as like a back end, a support kind of area, just so that you can kind of move forward and have some patience with it.
What kind of capital base do you think you should have at least to get started, even if it's just
Sure.
something small. You know, what's the minimum you think? You know, because I know a lot of it's different for everybody, but you know,
I would say, you know, the big thing, because I get this question a lot now from our students even, and it's, I mean, I start off with a $2,500 account, and your risk of failure between that and a $5,000 account is like next to none, man. Like I remember my first one. Okay, even though, let's just put it in perspective. $2,500 account. Let's say you pay, you know, $20, $50 in commissions, $250 a week. It's $1,000 a month. So you break even for the month. Your account balance is half of it. Your buying power is negligent. Like you can't really go anywhere from that. I know a big thing is we always say for your trades, risk 1% or 0.5% of your account. Go from there. Set a max trade for the week. A max losses for the day, and just have those kind of risk parameters set in stone so that, if you have a smaller account, you can still slowly grow it and, not go for those big home run trades. Just shoot for little base hits until you can get to the stage where it's like, okay, once you double your account, okay, now you increase your risk.
Sure.
I think another thing too, a lot of traders, they get one home run trade and they just think, oh, we can double our risk right off the bat. Like that doesn't happen. Like it's all about, okay, getting those base hits. And then once you get to that point where it's like, okay, I feel comfortable risking twice as much on the table, then make that decision. Don't do it just based off your last trade. That'll be like biggest disaster.
I think the hardest thing, but the most important thing you can do as a trader is to learn like 1 or 2 patterns that you know inside and out, and just try to make $100 a day. You'll find, like when we check our students' trades, we find that almost all of them at some point during the day, like 90% of them will be up at least $100 during the day. But most of them give it back because they get greedy, or they go for home runs, or they overtrade. But frankly, a lot of them know how to make at least a little bit of money. Yeah. And what I think is important is if you can learn how to make a little bit of money every day for months at a time, then you can scale higher and say, okay, my new goal is going to be $150 a day or $200 a day. But most people don't want to do that, right? They make $100 like 3 days in a row and they're like, all right, time for me to get to the 1,000, right?
Play roulette.
If you can do it for say 2 or 3 months, then start to scale your size and take on extra risk, maybe trade more patterns or a longer part of the day. But in the beginning, your only goal is to learn, refine your processes, get that screen time in, and just grow your account a little bit at a time, like not bust up.
Yeah, I think that's big too. That was actually the reason why my first account blew up, was because our boot camp, we trade like 15, 20 different patterns. So like when you get all that information, you really want to find out what's your kind of niche. Yeah. And for me, like when you guys are learning a certain pattern, you have like your 5 to 10 different indicators or confirmation signals within that. So I mean, if you multiply that by 5 patterns, you got like 25 variables in the market open that you're trying to track like on a second by second basis. And so when that happened, like I just realized like I wasn't tracking my trades, I wasn't being, crystal clear with what I was entering and exiting out of, and I was just getting really sloppy with my trades. So that's what happened. After my first account, I went back, I went through all my trades on TraderView, which we use, and that same thing, like I just found out my 2 top patterns that I felt consistent with and confident with, and those 2 I just kept refining over the last 3 years until like you basically got to the point where it's like, okay, I can consistently make a couple $100 a day. Once you get comfortable with that, okay, expand it either with buying power and getting more leverage, or you're getting to another kind of pattern that you can trade in a different time zone of the day. So,
what are those 2 patterns that you like to trade?
The opening range breakout or breakdown, and the red to green or second day continuation plays on both sides.
So if you guys check out our YouTube channel, the videos, we've got literally dozens and dozens of videos on opening range breakouts and red to greens. We just did a webinar a few months ago on how to trade the open, which is one of the spots where you can find these patterns all the time. It's what Josh has been using consistently now for the last year. He's been at my house crushing it. He actually had his best day ever trading in MBOT last week, and so we've been off celebrating and having fun. He's made a ton of progress. But if you follow some of these things, you're gonna give yourself a much better chance to succeed. So kind of sum that up, right? Have a job, learn your ass off, trade journal, and really find 1 or 2 patterns that you can make just a little bit of money on, because in the end, it's like people don't realize it. If you make $100 a day for a month, it's $2,000, right? What can you do with that? Well, that's a big chunk of your bills and stuff. It really adds up, especially if you start doing it consistently over and over. And I think that's one of the best ways to build it. Somebody like Josh, he's been at this now for years, but look, the skill he has now will last a lifetime. So he's 22 years old, but now he's got it, right? And he's still got to get better at it, but was it worth it to actually spend a few years to get good at something?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Especially with the lifetime access, man. Like, even over the last 4 years, it's not like I just took the course and like, you know, went from there. It was like, no, like every single year, like we was like, okay, if I was having an issue, man, I'd jump into class and it'd be on a certain pattern or like risk management, just to get that, you know, muscle memory and that repetition in your head. That was huge. Another thing too, that, you know, for you guys, you have to track your journals every single day. Like, that's just like, you have to do that, because all it takes is a couple of weeks of you being sloppy and not following your trading rules. And especially for your smaller accounts, you guys won't be gone like in an instant. So keep on top of your stats. My two main ratios, my risk reward and my win ratio. As long as I have both of those guys in the right zone that I like it to be in, then I know that my trading's on track. It's going forward. So
cool. Well, Josh, as always, this has been a good week.
yeah.
I'm pumped to see all your progress. And guys, feel free to leave us any questions or comments. And you can always even find Josh at Bulls on Wall Street. He moderates our chat room. And so any questions or comments you have, I'll make sure he answers them. And you guys will get everything you need. Take care.